Hello. I'm sorry. We're a little late. We had a few. Well, we had one technical issue. One of our panel is having trouble getting sorted and logged in and everything. So we gave them a few minutes, and then we thought, oh, well, we better start, and we started, and there was an error. So anyway, we're here. I'm not going to make any more excuses. Welcome. This is episode 280 of the ProSynth Network live show. It is Friday the 15th of August 2025, and we are coming at you from, well, actually all four of us today are from the very hot and sweltery, is that a word, sweltery, sticky, it's horrible, UK. So we're all here, and we're melting, although it's supposed to get cooler here where I am anyway tomorrow, but I'm travelling up north and it's getting warmer up north tomorrow. So yeah, I can't bloody well get away from it, but most of that will be in a climate controlled car, so I won't be too worried. Anyway, enough of that. Welcome to the show. It's another quiet week in the synth world, but we do have a few things to talk about, and we've got a discussion topic that we might try and get into in the latter half of the show. We don't have any synthspirations this week because you've all been slacking. Where are you? Come on, let's be having you, as Delia used to say. Please do send us your synthspirations. We'll tell you all about that and where to do the sending in a little while. But welcome, and I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good week since last we met. We've got a great show coming up next week, which we're going to tell you a little bit more about then. But before we do that, let's get all the boring housekeeping stuff out of the way. If you enjoy the show, then do give us a thumbs up during the show, would be nice. If not, if you're watching afterwards, do so after as well. If you want to comment or chat with us during the show, you can do so on the various platforms that we broadcast on, so mainly YouTube, but we're also on Facebook and Twitch. So if you're watching on any of those platforms, you can use the chat facilities to comment during the video or talk with us. And if you have a question, do stick a big capital Q in front of it so that we know that it's a question. We'll park it and come back to it at an appropriate time. If you haven't already, do click the subscribe button, and that way you help boost the channel. You also get notifications if you want them or not. You can turn those on or off. But just having a subscriber really does mean a lot to us. It costs you nothing. And it really does make a difference for us. I would love it if we could cross the 5,000 subscriber threshold, which is nothing in YouTube terms. But if we could cross that 5,000 subscriber threshold before the end of the year, that would be fantastic. So maybe we'll have a drive, like a subscriber drive, a little bit later in the year. Maybe offer some prizes or something, just to encourage people to sign up. Who knows? We'll try. Yeah. Unless you can think of a better way. But hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That would be fantastic. And of course, if you know somebody who would enjoy the show, then share it to them as well, and spread the lovely word. You can support us on in a number of places. You can support us on a thing called Patreon, and Patreon allows you to subscribe to our page over there for a minimum of $2 a month. And for that, you get a bunch of free stuff. So you get sounds for your synthesizers. We've got hardware synthesizers, software synthesizers. You get exclusive video content or content that's been extracted from the show and is ad-free, and you can watch it as often as you like, and you don't have to go searching for it. It's all there. So there's loads of things that you can benefit from, one of which has just gone up this week. And it is a set of impulse response reverbs, or impulse. I said that the wrong way around. It's impulse response reverbs. But yeah, so Gare at Custom Sonics has put together 20 impulse response reverbs from Custom Sonics, and they've all been created using Reaper and various VST plugins. They're in WAV format, 4824, peak normalized to -2 dB. And they've been tested in all sorts of effects that use such things, such as the Cubase, is it Revents or Revents or whatever, Reason's RV7000 Mark II, the Impulse Record Convology XT, which is a very good impulse response unit, Ableton Live's Convolution Reverb, the Reaper Reverb as well, and all Waves Convolution Reverb plugins will import the files. So they're widely usable. And of course, if you are on our Patreon page and you're subscribed to that, you can just click the link and get those absolutely free of charge. There's also things like Synthspirations videos. There's a claps instrument. There's a kick drum instrument. There's other things as well. There's presets for ODC 2800 and Hydrasynth and loads of stuff that you can have on there. So that's one way you can support the channel, and there's no contract. You can do it, for a couple of months and then stop, or do it for 6 months, or just let it run and run and run. So yeah, that's a great way to support us over at patreon.com/ProSynth Network. Another way you can do that is to join the YouTube channel as a member. It's exactly the same. Minimum $2 a month. You get all of those freebies as well. Okay, now it looks like we're still waiting for our fourth panel member to join, so I will keep excuse me, I'll keep waffling just a little bit longer to give Scott a chance to get in the room. While we do, you can also support us by buying merchandise from our merchandise store. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, although you don't really need sweatshirts this time of the year. You can get vest tops and bikinis. You can get bandanas, stickers, water bottles, as used by most of us here on the show. You can even get a coaster to put your water bottle on. There's all sorts of goodies in there, and you can buy those, and we're able to take a little bit off the top of that, and that helps go towards the channel. So there you go. That's another way that you can support us there. And of course, you can find us across all of the social media networks, or most of them anyway, all the decent ones: YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitch, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, although I have no idea why we're still on TikTok. But we're all over that stuff as well. So there you go. That's enough waffling from me. That's the housekeeping all done. Let's introduce the people on the panel who have arrived, and Scott hopefully will be with us very, very soon, but we'll give him a chance. Let's meet first of all our very own Swan Vesta. It is Mr. Kent Spong.
Oh, is that still a thing?
It's still a thing.
It's
yeah.
still a thing. Okay, fair enough. All right. Okay.
How are you, sir?
Perpendicular. Can just throw it out there. Can cars have personalities?
Apparently so. Have you not read Christine?
Well, you see, I put the Chrysler round the side, round the garages.
Okay.
And the alarm won't stop going off all day.
Oh. Doesn't like it.
Doesn't like being around the garage.
Wow. Or somebody's trying to break into it.
No.
No, I've seen
not
it.
that Chrysler. No. They'd have to go to the hospital and get jabs. Yes. So So she been constantly going around the garage and going beep, relax, you're okay. Doesn't like its new environment, but there you go. It seems to have settled down now anyway.
Good.
Because I disconnected the battery.
Well, there you go. That'll do it.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Good week though. You've been mostly working on the car this week, haven't you?
Yeah. Let's not talk about the Mustang because I've been boring people all week with what I've been doing to the Mustang. So
okay.
Yeah. So but let's not.
Anything musical?
Anything musical? I cleaned the Hydrasynth. No.
No.
No, not really. No.
Oh well.
I haven't been in here.
No.
Apart from this, and what was it, a couple of pubs, wasn't it?
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah, I've been worky.
Well, that's good. Anyway, okay. Well, that's a couple of minutes killed. I mean, we've got a few more to do, but we shall move on, and we'll move on to Mr. Longhurst. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good evening, everyone.
Had a fun week.
It's been an odd week, another odd week, which is, each day I've been thinking, well, there's not that much to do. I can sort of chill a bit, and somehow or other the week's just flown by, and suddenly here it's Friday, and we're going, where the who?
Yeah.
Where the who? But yeah, doing some more sound banky stuff. I'm doing another sound bank ready for something coming up, and we'll be putting that in Patreon. It may be another co-op thing, but we'll see how we go with that. But yeah, it's been an interesting week, and I've been doing a little bit of playing, which has been fun. And also, sorry, there is a question from Mr. House. Can I just?
No, Nick House has not asked a question, has he?
Yeah, I know, it's most unlike him. Nick, this is the first time in microseconds in a quantum tick that you've asked a question. So, room sim work. How do IRs work in a Dolby Atmos environment? Essentially, if you're doing a proper 3D room sim, you need to use. It's preferable to use an ambisonic mic or a 3D, four capsule positional mic to do that. I've got one. We can have a chat about it, but that's what I've done in the past. I've done it for clients and things. You just need to generate responses in a full 3D thing. Depending on how you do it, you might want to do multiple responses, but that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
There you go.
And there we go.
Indeed.
I have a question.
Go on then.
Go on.
What's an insincere question look like?
Ken, how is your hair that colour? It's
Oh,
He's here.
I stole it off him.
He's made it.
Can you
is
hear me
Scotland
this
back
time?
in the United Kingdom again? What happened?
Yeah, that's the second time.
That
What are you
Scottish
saying?
Brexit was very short-lived.
Yeah.
Well, very strange. Can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Good.
All
Pardon?
good. All good.
Mr. Andrew, how are you? Mr. Kent?
We
Mr.
are all
Robbie?
Mr. Yeah.
Well, we're all very well. How are you?
I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good now. Yet again, computer problems, but the usual. But yeah, all good. All good. Busy
Excellent.
away. Keeping out of mischief or trying to.
Yeah. Got any new sandbanks cooking?
Yeah, well, the OBX8, that's kind of, I think I've got 2 more sounds to do for that, and then I'll get the whole thing polished off, and then that one will be out. I was hoping to have that out a little bit earlier, but I've had another few jobs came up in between, so... Yeah, so hopefully that should be by Monday, I would hope. I said that the last time I was on here, but yeah.
You did,
hoping,
yeah.
So I'm hoping by this Monday it should be ready to rock. We've got my nephew's first birthday tomorrow, so we're away to head through to Glasgow for that. So that's tomorrow out the way, but I'll get back to it on Sunday again.
Nice.
And yourselves, you guys, all good?
Yeah, all good. All hot, But
Yeah, it's been very
it is what it
warm.
is. Yeah.
Got a fan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Silent
so you
fan.
do.
It's
You've
a
got lots
silent
of-
fan. Yeah.
Oh, is that what I can
Andrew,
hear?
you've got lots of fans. Lots of fans.
Only fans.
Yeah. Yeah, enough about my feet.
I had an interesting week this week. I think I might have mentioned this last week. So I dug out the O2R mixer. I thought I'm going to use this thing. I'm going to make bloody good use of it. So it's out, and I've got lots of stuff plugged into it. And it reminded me that I'd been looking for a TC Unity FX card for it. Now, there's a whole sort of long story, but TC Electronics decided, in collaboration with Yamaha, to do this dedicated DSP card.
Yeah.
And they rewrote the software on behalf of Yamaha, and when you bought one of these cards, you got the software EPROMs with it.
That's right.
And
yeah.
then you put those in, you put the card in, and all of a sudden you had the ability to have all of these amazing Unity effects from the TC catalogue. And so I bought one. I found one on eBay, and it was about 130 quid, which I thought was pretty reasonable. And
Very.
the guy assured me it was all in full working condition. But of course, there were licenses involved with the software
you need a
back in the
code
day.
to go with it, yeah.
Exactly. So when you bought the card, it came with 100 hours of usage with both packages. There was an effects package called M2000, and then there's a package called Finalizer, which is all kind of mastering and compression.
Yeah,
and
it's
all
like
that kind
the
of stuff.
exciter and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
was in there, yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. So you got both of those to start with, and after 100 hours, the card would say, right, your time is up, pick one.
Yeah.
And you'd have to pick one bank of effects. And then if you wanted the other one, you bunged them another like 500 quid for the license, and you got those. So I had no idea what was on this card or what wasn't on this card. Were the licenses intact or not? Card turns up, goes into the machine. I've only got the whole bleeding lot.
You're joking.
You dancer.
The whole lot, both
You
packages.
dancer. Brilliant.
Only problem is there were no the license codes that would have been used to activate those didn't come with it. I've got to contact him to see if he's still got them, because you can't lift them off the card. You can't go into like the utility page and find the codes. So The only problem is that if the battery on the card, which is like a CR2032 or something, if that dies or is removed, the licenses go.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is going to be a point where I need to replace the battery, and I either jerry rig some sort of
temporary power.
Yeah.
You do jump leads to the contacts to
I
another
will need to
battery
come speak
while
to
you
Uncle
solder
Ken.
the new one on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it's actually in a battery holder, so I don't know whether somebody's replaced
even
it or
better.
whether it was a later version.
Even better.
So there's a battery holder in there. There's no soldering in there. So that's the only drawback. But I mean, it's the least of my concerns right now. I got the bleeding lot.
Oh,
Which I was-
That's an
Yeah.
expensive. That was an expensive package, new.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah, very much so. Because I got it. I got it included with mine when I bought my O2R new. I asked them to include it with that. Not that I didn't get it any cheaper. I just wanted it with it because there were so many raving reviews.
Yeah.
And it was the reverbs. It was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And the mastering. I mean, it was used. It was kind of a staple for all the post-production houses
Yeah.
for years with that
Yeah.
package. They used to use the finalizer rather than the effects, but astonishing piece of kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So £821.33 for the standard Unity card back in the day. If you wanted it with the extra connectors at the back, AES, EBU, or ADAT, that was another couple of £100.
Yeah.
And then the additional license code was £552.25.
So that's 1,500 quid's worth. Does your card have the additional ins and outs?
No, but I've got plenty of other ins and out cards. I don't necessarily need those.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
In answer to Exorb's question, I don't think you can access the battery when it's in the mixer
No, it's on the
because
card.
you'd have to pull out the card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, you can't do it while it's still
They put the
mixer's
battery-
still on.
They put the battery right at the back of the card near the
Yeah.
connector. So
Yeah.
yes, you
So
unless
you
you've
can't
got
do that,
microscopic
yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, I wouldn't be too keen to do it because you just don't know. But anyway, and because the upgrade also came with a whole bunch of 5.1 surround effects as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There
I
was
didn't know
25
the
of them.
O2R had surround as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the all basically TC Electronic rewrote the software or the firmware for the O2R, not only to accommodate their card, but to incorporate a whole bunch of new features like 5.1. So, yeah. This whole thing has been a touch. I mean, the board only cost me 250 quid. The meter bridge was only about 100 quid. I mean, back in the day, that would have been the thick end of 10 grand just for those two units alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've
yeah.
got a box full of cards, digital and analog inputs and output cards. So yeah, it was a bit of a touch. So I was happy, Bunny.
Nice.
And now I've
Can
got
you
to
just-
learn how to use it.
Can you just tell us all the lottery numbers? Because clearly you're on a roll here.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I mean,
at least somebody had some luck this week.
I know, right?
God, bloody hell.
So I've either got to find some codes that I can use or the original codes because unfortunately, TC Electronic, guess who owns them now?
Novation.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's all
really?
music.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they I don't know whether they bought the business or the name, but either way, TC Electronic is all Music Tribe now. And yeah, I've got the software. Very very decent guy that I met on the Sound on Sound forums has sent me the original PC software for it, so that could be a useful thing. But yeah, it's been a bit of a turn up for the books, that one.
Very
And I had
It's a
good.
something else turn up.
fantastic turn up. Yeah.
Something else turned up on Tuesday, and it's rather large, and it's electromechanical, and it's still in its box. I've got a Rhodes Mark 8 MIDI in the garage that's arrived this week for review. So
Nothing.
Nice.
the clock is ticking on that one. I just haven't had a chance to unbox it yet, and I'm away for a few days. So my boy's chomping at the bit. So I can do it while you're away. No, you can't. No. So yeah, interesting week. Anyway, we do have some news to talk about. Let's just get this one out of the way first, because next week we've got some very special guests on, and you know who it would be. That's right, folks. There's something new coming from Cherry Audio, and as always, the guys are going to be here. But there's going to be more than just a couple. We've got some. I can't say anything more than that. But all I will say is make sure you are here next week, because we've got some very special people joining us, as well as the very special people from Cherry Audio, to tell us all about their new plugin. Lots of people speculating as to what it might be. The original teaser, which I'll play for you now, might give you a little hint. Subtle, but the clues are there. Is that what was the game show that they used? Was that say what you see what you say? The clues are there.
See.
Yeah, it's all there.
See what you see.
Yeah, it's this. Listen, it's a belter. That's all I can say. It's a belter. So do stick around. They'll be announcing that on Tuesday, 6 p.m. UK time, which I think is 10 a.m. What is it? 10 a.m. Eastern. Something like that. Or is it 12? I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be around that time. They're going to announce that on Tuesday, and then we will be joined by some people you know and have met on here before, and some other people who you might know but have never seen on here before, and they are very, very special. It's all related. It's all connected. So we are very excited. Very excited. So do join us. So the best thing to do is to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, and come and join us for that one, because it's going to be good.
Do they have those shows in the UK? Oh, Dr. Mike Mapley, most of your game shows are stolen from us.
All the good ones.
All the good ones. Oh, all the good ones.
We watched Wheel of Fortune in France a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was getting more right than the contestants were, and I don't even really speak French.
That's mobile phones for you, mate.
I know, right?
Yep. Tell me about it.
It was amazing. I was doing really well. Anyway, so join us next week. The reveal is on Tuesday, and then we'll have the show up ready just shortly after that. So please do join us. It's going to be a belter, as they say. Cherry Audio adding to their considerable collection of
exciting stuff.
I know, yeah, it's really good. Right, let's see. So we've done that. Let's do a bit of hardware news. I haven't got a video for this. They haven't put a video up, so I can't really play anything. But
do a mime.
Do a mime.
Yeah.
This is this module in the style of interpretive dance. No, not going to happen. So let's bring this into the show. This is the new Mellotron micro module.
Sounds great, this little thing, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, this is essentially the same engine that you'll find in their smaller. Actually, I think it might be the same engine you find in all of their Mellotron digital Mellotrons, because all of these are digital Mellotrons. But it's now produced in a small, compact tabletop desktop module with two lovely little LED screens and all the controls that you would normally find on the left-hand side of a Mellotron. And it's stacked with 100 sounds that are gleaned from the libraries of the micro keyboard version and the M4000D series of instruments. So you're going to get a whole bunch of really, really cool sounds. Let's see if we can just make this image a little bit bigger on your screen for you. So that's what it looks like from the top. This is its bum. So you've got a master output, a sustain pedal, a headphone output. You've got MIDI 3.5 jacks, and then there's a power socket. And that, ladies and germs, is all that you get. That's it. It's just a fixed box. No messing around. Now, there is only one question I have about this. and it is to do with the sounds. So you've got 100 sounds that have been gleaned from their other instruments, which I guess have been gleaned from original Mellotrons and cleaned up or whatever and put on tape. But there are no expansion card. Well, there doesn't appear to be any expansion card slots on this. It does state here in the text, it's expansion cards are not compatible with the expansion cards that they use on the Mellotron Micro. Now, as far as I'm aware, the expansion cards they use on their bigger Mellotrons are CF cards, very, very fast CF cards. There's also this other line here in the description that says it cannot be expanded with the CF expansion cards. It is based on micro SD storage. But where is that micro SD storage? Is it inside the unit? Are you able to upgrade the sounds? And if so, do you have to unscrew the unit? And why isn't there a slot so you can put extra sounds in via an SD card? It's all a little bit confusing. But, if you want those classic Mellotron sounds in a piece of solid hardware, then, here you go. But it's 500 quid. And my next question is, and it was a question I posed to our friend Synth Samurai when he was talking about this on his channel a few days ago. Why would I want this when I can go out and buy GeForce's M-Tron Pro Mark IV and all of the Streetly libraries, every single one of them, I think even the newest one, which is basically, as Dave said to me, we've literally scraped the bottom, the last of the barrel. This is it, for 333 quid. I'm not entirely sure about this. I like the fact that you've got the hands-on controls. I like the fact you can just plug it in and go. But for $500, and this seemingly confusing thing around the expansion, guys. Scott, are you a Mellotron fan? And
I do like the Mellotron. I love the sounds from the Mellotron. I've never owned one. I've played a few, and I do like it. It's just so quirky. And I think there's so much nostalgia just with the Mellotron sound itself. But it's like you say, if you could upgrade the sounds in this, it would make it far more appealing. If there was an SD slot in there that you could basically fire in even your own waves if you wanted, or samples or whatever you wanted to do, to put them in there, it would make it so much more appealing. But I think, sorry for Mellotron, but I think I would personally be going for the GeForce one myself.
Yeah.
For that kind of money, it's maybe just on the hefty end of the scale for price-wise. But I do love the sound. The Mellotron sound is great.
So, I mean, whilst this does have the Mellotron brand name on the box, do not be mistaken, this isn't the same company. Because that company went the way of the Dodo many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And what we have over here in the UK is Streetly Electronics, who do amazing work on maintaining, repairing and restoring original hardware Mellotrons. And have access to all of the original source tapes for all of the sounds that you could put onto a rack, and they'll do custom racks for anyone that can pay the money to do it. So this is Mellotron by brand name only. I'm sure that they revived the brand a number of years ago, and if you look at their product range, it's quite an impressive thing. You've got the M4000D, which to all intents and purposes, from the top down anyway, looks like one, but it's only about 3 inches deep. Then you've got the mini, and then you've got the rack version, then you've got the micro version, and now you've got the micro module, which is essentially the micro version with the keys chopped off. But they ain't cheap. I mean, the M4000D, $2,800, which is a lot of money. And you can have it in black or white though, which is interesting. Kent,
What?
any thoughts on this? On a Mellotron in the box for 500 notes?
No. When it comes to Mellotrons, if it needed a hand, I'd gladly give it a hand if it was pushing it off a cliff. I couldn't give a monkeys about the Mellotron sound at all. Never been into it. No. Never bought into the romance of it at all. Sorry.
No.
No.
Hey.
That's fair enough.
And it sounds a bit closed off somehow. This is what you get. Tough. This sort of like...
Here's 100 sounds, boom.
Yeah. Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a very, very closed sort of system. But I've never been into the Mellotron sound, I'm afraid. I always
That's
saw
what-
the Mellotron as a get-by for people waiting for samplers to happen,
Yeah.
basically.
That's kind
mean-
of what they were, wasn't it?
Well,
really?
yeah, and sort of like, so they would just get the sort of like, here's something that will kind of stop you from being completely bored until the sampler comes out.
Mm. Well, the thing is,
So-
and this is an argument I've had with lots of people, and we probably won't get into it here, but a lot of people refer to the Mellotron, the original Mellotron, as the original sampler. Well, the word sampler hadn't been invented back then. This was a tape playback device. That's what it was. It was a very clever thing. I mean, great idea, but it's not a sampler. I mean, yes, you can record your own sounds onto it, but you would have to have something like the Skeletron, which is what the Streetly guys have got, that is able to then record the sounds onto the tapes and what have you, and then put those tapes into a frame, and then put that frame. It's not an easy job. But anyway, that's an argument for another day. The Micro is twice the price, so you get a keyboard for an extra $500. And it says here that an update process happens over Bluetooth with the keyboard, so maybe there's a way of using Bluetooth on the Micro module, but it doesn't make mention of it.
Yeah.
It's
Keith
an odd one.
Keith's got a good point. He says, "How do they get all the tapes in that tiny box?"
It's like a dictaphone.
Obviously, they use micro cassettes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you remember years and years ago, there was someone who made a homemade Mellotron from 8 Walkmans. It was ingenious, and it was all very Heath Robinson, all very kind of little. It was basically a Mellotron on Walkmans. It was fantastic.
There's
Just
just not
the
a lot to
endeavour.
do in Dudley, is there?
No, quite. But the endeavour was I thought was just brilliant. I thought it was really, really nice. But I don't know. I just can't get past the price of this for 100 sounds on one fixed unit, essentially. Synth Samurai, I was watching his stream the other day about it, and he said, look, you can just get it out, put it on the table, plug your keyboard in, and away you go. Well, I can get my laptop out and plug a keyboard in. My MacBook probably boots just as fast as this does, if not a few seconds slower. Oh dear! And then I fire up the plug-in, and I've got all of that stuff. I just I don't know.
And then
I
go,
don't know.
why did I bother?
No, I do like the sound of the Mellotron. It does
Really?
have a quad. Yeah, no, I do.
I'm just one of those. I'm just not. It's like no.
And the other thing is that we have to give credit to Dave and Chris and the team at GeForce for M-Tron Pro, because when they originally released it, was it 20 years ago now? It's getting on. It completely reintroduced the Mellotron to our sound palette. Those sounds had pretty much gone away. If it wasn't for M-Tron Pro, there are so many records in the last 20 years that have used Mellotrons, and I think you could trace that all back to the fact that GeForce reinvigorated that market through that plugin.
No, I'm not wrong, Cheech. I definitely know I don't like it. I mean, it's just me. That's me. It's,
I mean, Wagyu says in
all.
the chat, you can't compare hardware with software. Now, I get that argument, but what is this box? It's a VST in the box.
Yeah, that's
essentially.
What it is. Yeah.
It's a small dedicated computer in a box with 2 little screens with a bunch of samples. Totally.
So-
comparable. Anyway,
So I happen to love the Mellotron sound, and I love the ethos of how, not the ethos, the working method you need to adopt to make it work for you. That's why so many of the big hits that came about because of it, the Moody Blues and the Beatles, Yes, a whole bunch of King Crimson, a whole bunch of different hits came about, even David Bowie, because you couldn't sustain the sound for longer than 7 or 8 seconds. So you had to hold for that long, give a moment for it to wind back before you could press it again. So people had to get inventive about the chord shapes, about inversions, and about using seconds and doing all these weird chord things. That did something that hadn't, with organs, you just sort of go, yeah. So Mellotrons forced people to get more inventive with the kinds of chordal structures they were using, which was really good. It's this whole thing of working in a limited creative environment, having limits to what you can do. And I happen to love the fact that they have a particular sound that doesn't do anything other than play. It's on, off, and whatever the recording is what you've got on your recording. That works for me for an awful lot of reasons, but it works. I like it as well as real strings and whatever else. I think the problem with this micro module, well, first of all, the benefit is it's cheaper than the other hardware they've got.
Yeah.
And I get that. The reason for this box, if you were to have it at all, is because of the control panels. The way it works and the way you switch between things is actually another creative process that works really, really well. But you could probably simulate something like this for the plugin. I mean, this is all right, but it's a colossal pain in the arse to carry around, and you can't update it. Even with the micro, you can't. You have to go up to the mini, I think, before you can start up with the rack, or the mini before you can start updating. For anyone that likes this kind of thing, it's kind of okay. It's good, but and the way you play it with that controller is extraordinary. It does make you do things in a way that's deeply creative and kind of fun. But no is the answer. I'm with Robbie and I think everyone else on this apart from Ken. I love the sounds, but this way of playing it, I don't get it. I don't understand why you'd pay this price when exactly what you've said, Robbie. You can use the Mtron, and especially the latest version. It's astonishing. It's absolutely astonishing. Is that available as a contact thing as well? I can't remember.
What available as a contact?
As either contact, Mtron, the GeForce plugin.
No, it's there. You've got Mtron Pro, and you've also got Retron, which is the Reason Rack extension version,
right?
Which is kind of like Mtron Pro 2 or 3. It's kind of because I don't think they've updated it for a while. But go on. Sorry,
I was just going to say the truth is that if you're going to use this in a studio, then you'll be using GeForce Pro. You'll just be using the GeForce plugin. You will, because it's just brilliant, absolutely stunning. If you're going to be using this live, guess what? For live, you can get that kind of sound on pretty much any of the keyboards you have, which will allow you to load in a sample library. It doesn't have to be entirely accurate because you're after the that kind of sound. It's not hard to simulate. For live, you don't need one of these. You just don't. So I'm a bit puzzled as to why it exists. It's a lovely thing. I'm glad they've done it. I'm puzzled as to why anyone would get it, though. I really am. I'm not at all sure. So that's my take.
It's a nice thing, but I just think there are so many other options, like you say. Because let's be honest. Even live, you take a laptop with you nowadays. It's no longer. It hasn't been for years. This horrible, risky business. A laptop using a MacBook Live or something is so commonplace that you just have these. You'd either have Mtron loaded up, or you'd have those specific patches you need in a sampler and be done with it. This is another thing that really gets me here. Now, I appreciate that the machines are hand built and hardware, and it's a small company, so there's a bit of a premium price. But look at the price of the expansion cards. Let's just choose a Sound Expansion Card 8. $500 just for that card, which gets you 228 sounds. They do bundles, so you can get like a 7-card sound bundle for $2,100. And now I know that these are very fast performing CF cards, and that's
And
Yeah.
my computers, any computer just about will play. I just don't see it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're doing really well. I hope they're doing really well, but I don't see it. It wouldn't fit into any one of my rigs. And I would have an original Mellotron, despite what Pete says. I used to use them when I first started out. We had two in the studio side by side, and I loved them, and they were a real pain in the arse. But there was something absolutely glorious about the sound out of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely glorious.
I just think these are very, very boutique-y type things. I like the fact they've done the micro module. I would have loved it even more if you were able to swap out SD cards.
Yeah.
And there's no mention of that. I thought, here's another thing. I thought, let me check the manual. So if you go and go to their support page, you have to register your unit before you get the manual. So I couldn't even go through the manual to see if there was a way of changing the SD cards in this thing, because there's clearly, I mean, unless they've hidden it on the left-hand side of the unit, because that's the only side of the unit we don't actually get to see. But there's no mention of it. So if it had the ability to swap out micro SD cards, and so you could buy the libraries and swap them out, then I think maybe that makes a little bit more sense. But for me, it's a lot of money for something that's very pretty, but can be done way less.
And you can simulate this with most samplers, including hardware samplers that have been around for the last 25 years. You can simulate it, or you can get samples of it. I don't quite see. I just don't see it, and certainly not at this pricing.
Yeah.
Not at this pricing.
Anyway, if you are interested, they're available now from Mellotron, digitalmellotron.com, for $500 I believe that's US dollars. So that's probably what, 390 UK, because the dollar, the exchange rate at the moment is ridiculous. It's like $1.60, I think. Oh no, is it not $1.60? $1.16, I think, which is still pretty good. Do you remember the days? I think it was Kent and I were talking. You used to get $2 to the pound.
Yeah, that was around about 2008.
In the 90s.
2008. We took my daughter over to Florida in 2008. We were at 1.96 to the pound.
That's great, isn't it?
So
But it's great one way.
I bought myself a Taylor 614 CE when I was over there and brought it over.
Yeah. I remember when I went over there it was 2001. It was 3 weeks after 9/11, so the plane was half empty, and we went over to see a friend get married. Like the mug, by the way, Scott. And we went to see a friend get married, and we went to Chicago for a week. And I walked into a I can't remember the name of the store, but all they sold was movies. And I literally filled a second suitcase with DVDs that I couldn't get in the UK. And it cost me nothing. And I didn't even pay anything when I went through customs. It didn't stop me or anything. So it was heady days. Heady days.
Heady days indeed.
Indeed. Right. Well, they say if you want a Mellotron micro module, it's $500. You can go and grab one of those right now. And if you do, tell us what it's like. We'd like to know. It'll be interesting. Right, let's see, what can we have a look at now? What's the time? Okay, we're okay for time here. Okay, I'm going to do this one next. Guess what, kids? We're going to talk about modular. We're going to talk about a Eurorack thing. I say we're going to talk about it. I don't really know much about modular, so I'm going to wing it. But I promised my friend Richard that I would do this. So this is a brand new module from a gentleman named Richard Hyder. You might know him in the chat as Axis Modular. I've known him for some while. I bought a drum pad off him. I went to see him, and he's a lovely guy, and he's very talented. Used to do a lot of work for Rob Pappen and his plugins, but he's been making his own module stuff, and he's got a brand new module that is coming out, or is out, and it's called the Mix 4, and it is a 6 HP, so it's the same size as 6 bottles of HP sauce, 4-channel CV and audio mixer for Eurorack, featuring 4 input channels, each armed with a handy mute switch, 4 level trimmers, and a normal plus inverted output with a bicolor LED indicator. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will know what that means. I don't. This is basically a mixer, isn't it? It mixes audio or CV signals. And that's really what it does. It's £58.45. Again, I couldn't tell you whether that's a good price or a bad price. I'm assuming it's quite a good price. It's hand built by Richard. Let's show you some side views of it. There we go. That's what it looks like from the side, although you won't see that because it'll be mounted in your case. What do they call them now? Skiffs or something like that. This is what it looks like from the rear. It's got a lovely little message on the PCB. I don't know if I can zoom in there. Thank you to my family, including Logan and DJ. Thank you to Tuna. Thank you, Simon Arnold and the Synth Shed crew. And look, it says, thank you, Jason Jervis. So even Jason gets a credit on the back there. And lastly, thanks to you. So there it is there in all of its glory. And this is what each of those connections do. So you have 4 connections at the bottom there, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then each channel of those has an on and a mute switch and a level attenuator on the right hand side. And then you can take a normal out or an inverted out. And I'm sure you Eurorack people know exactly what that all means and does. To me, it goes way over my head. And I said to Richard, I'm more than happy to mention this on the show because you're a mate and you're selling stuff and we want to support you. What I did do, though, was recommend him go and speak to Randy because Randy will be all over this stuff. So hopefully he'll be talking about this on his show tomorrow and you might get a little bit more sense out of it. You might get some application examples, some use cases.
I do have a question on it, which is, yeah, I know, but I'm sure Kent might know this as well. So the level controls, if you're using it for CV for control voltages, is the level scaling the voltage? So let's just say you've got 5 volts coming in. Is it taking it down so you can go down to 2.5 or up to 10 or whatever it is, but 0 remains the same? Or is it moving the voltage down from 5 to 0 down to 4 to -1 and 3 to what's it doing? Because if it's scaling it, that suddenly becomes really, really interesting for a whole bunch of reasons for anyone doing modular. I'd love to know what it does. I'd love to know how that works.
I was just a way to say Jason said, oh, good God.
I know. It's an analog mixer.
I know it's an analog mixer. It's an analog mixer. Is it scaling the voltage for CV? For audio signals, I get it. I just want to know.
I don't think you would scale the voltage. I don't know. Maybe you would. I don't know.
Full on. So if you put in 5 volt in it, full on 5 volt, full off 0 volt. The same way a pot works on a synth. Exactly the same thing.
So if something's coming in at 5 volts and you take it down to 0, fine.
Yeah.
What if it's coming in at 3 volts to do something else? I just wanted to know. It was just a question about
if it's 3
modular.
volt, it will go all the way up to 3 volt.
This is why I asked Jason to come on the show today.
Yeah.
Jason's busy, so
He's saying it's not a CV mixer.
It says it's a CV mixer.
it says it's an audio stroke CV mixer.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to answer this question here, is it a built price or is it a kit? That is a built price. It says they're fully assembled. So this is a fully assembled thing.
And if you want it to go minus, you plug it into the inverted out.
There we go.
So you have ways of controlling, say, for instance, how much filter has been affected by steps in a sequencer, for instance.
So actually, it's a really useful thing.
Well, that's the thing about modulars. If the more holes you've got, the better off you are. It's a bit like a brothel.
Yeah. That's a very good question. Is it built or is it a kit?
Yeah, it's built. It's built.
It does
Wow.
say fully assembled.
And to answer this question, why don't we cover Eurorack? Because we don't really know much about it. So why would we? Simple.
Besides, there's other shows that cover it so well.
Exactly. What I will also say is that it's not just that Richard built. He has an entire store of bits and bobs. So he's got kits, he's got pre-built arms, there's delays in there, there's all sorts of useful tools. There's an NTS2 Eurorack adapter panel that he makes. So if you have an NTS2 or even an NTS1, you can fit that into your rack with that adapter panel. It's all sorts of gubbins in there. And I'm sure that the Eurorack crowd know all about this stuff, and which is why we don't cover it. Really,
I love
because-
building Eurorack modules. I think it's fun. Yeah, I really like building them.
No, not my thing.
I've got 4 kits I've got to do for a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I can sit down at the coffee table, watch a film, and build a Eurorack module.
Yeah.
Lovely.
If you cover Eurorack, I consider you a pusher. You see, we just stand on the right side of the law, kids.
Hey,
Is what we
can't
do.
please everyone.
I'm just thinking about this, Kent. Just so I'm clear, because this does annoy me when I don't quite get something. If I'm putting a CV into this and I'm using it to control CVs, let's just say it's a 5-volt CV thing, 1 volt per octave or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If I change the input, just the overall level, then any signal that's coming in is going to be taken down by that percentage. So it's rather than being an octave over a, for 1 volt per octave, it will be less. So you will end up with, it won't be in tune. What's coming out won't be the same as you originally started with. So you could do half scales. You could do all sorts of different ways of scaling it. So it is scaling on the in and out. Is that right, or is that not right?
You're talking about pitch CV.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, say, the CV that
For
would
a
be coming from a keyboard unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it would be whatever, depending on which key you're pushing, because each key will be producing a different voltage.
And that's what I mean. So if you have it set, say at 50%, is each key then doing 50%? So it's not playing it won't be playing the correct voltage, but it will be playing a voltage. So you'll end up with a different set of tunings.
Ish. You'll have to do octaves and adjust it until you get it where you want it to be.
There you go, Mike. Thank you for that. I was just, clearly we're experts on this.
I'm glad you are.
But you could quantize it later. You can, once it comes out of that, you can get it about right, and then you can put it through some sort of quantizing module after the fact. But I think it's a really handy thing to have. Well done. And at that price, if I was into modular, I'd be
Very
getting
good
it.
price.
Yeah, very good price.
Well, the price is definitely going for it, because I've seen other mixers almost exactly the same as this, but at different prices. And
isn't that funny? I think the scaling question only makes sense if you want to control pitch. That's all I was thinking of. And of course, you can use it for all sorts of other things. So, yeah, my bad.
So Axis Modular is who you want to look for on Etsy. There you go. That's the name there. It's Axis Modular, all one word. Go and buy some of his stuff if this is your thing, which it clearly isn't ours. So there you go. Thank you. And as I said, I put him in touch with Ramsey. I know Ramsey responded quite excitedly. So hopefully we'll get some more information there. And then I also know that Richard hangs out on a lot of Jason's streams. So is it Wednesday and Sunday? Yeah, or Tuesday and Sunday. I can't remember which they are now. But yeah, get Jervis. And I know Jason is a big user of this stuff. So
I must admit that when I do build these modules for customers, I don't even know what the modules do. And I'm the expert here.
allegedly.
So, well, compared to the other 3 people here.
If I was maybe we should do that. Yeah, we should do.
Yeah. Any suggestions for other T-shirts as well would be really interesting to see.
Subversive, not submersive, subversive Eurorack stuff. Manny says things like this are useful for when another module has only 2 CVs in, so you could throw your EGs, LFOs, keyboard voltages here and submit before sending to filter CV.
Yeah.
So these guys aren't what they're talking about. Go and speak to them.
That's the clever bit of modular.
Mm.
You can basically do what the hell you want.
Yeah.
And see what comes out.
It ain't always good. Moving on. Let's get... So have we all got a drink? Have we all got something to drink?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. Can we all just grab hold of our drinking receptacles? Because we are about to go into the world of MIDI.
Oh,
MIDI.
There we go. Cheers, everyone. This is brand new from
Witty
our
taste
friends.
of blackcurrant.
It's brand new from our friends at CME. This is the MIDI KO2. I'll give you 3 guesses. Well, it tells you on the screen there what this is for. This has been exclusively designed to be used on the KO2 devices. So, remember they did the medieval one and then the EP 133. This has been designed and it fits. Look how lovely that is. I mean, even if you don't use these things, it's a lovely design because it just slots in and it even puts the little MIDI tab on the top there so you know what you're doing. This is a full-on MIDI device that gives you ultra-low 3 millisecond latency across MIDI.
Wow.
It's compatible with all their other MIDI devices. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, where's Cresshead? Because he'd be. I think he'd be right
Yeah, I
up the
was going
street.
to say he'd love that. Huh?
Yeah. So at the moment, it's in what they call pre-production, and basically you register now your interest, and you pre-order it, and you'll get it for $39 instead of $59 when it launches. So get in there now. If you're into the teenage engineering devices, and you want wireless MIDI connection. Here it is. And as we all know, MIDI is an incredibly good and clever thing. It's well regarded, highly regarded in terms of its efficacy. It does exactly what it says on the tin, delivers ultra low wireless MIDI across Bluetooth Smart. Use an app to configure it. And I think it's just whoever thought of that design. It's just, very clever. Let's jump in there and produce a unit that slots nicely in. So there you go. If wireless MIDI is your thing, here is one for your KO or your medieval. I quite like that. Guys, any
I
thoughts
love
on
it.
that?
Yeah, I'd love to have that for all of the Sonicware stuff and a bunch of other things. Because of the audio as well. It's audio and MIDI, and I just like the way it's configured as a single box. How many of these can you run simultaneously? Do you need a specific receiver, or I don't quite get the.
No, so you can have as many as you want running, but it all depends on how you want to connect them up. So you can do peer-to-peer. So, for example, as you see in the screen here, you can plug a MIDI device into your synthesizer and one into your KO, and if you power those both up and there's nothing else, no other MIDI devices powered up in the room, those two will just automatically connect and you'll get in and out going in both directions. If you want to use your MIDI keyboard to control a selection of other MIDI connected devices, you can have 4 other connected devices. So you can have, say, 4 modules, all with MIDI in, and then you set up a group and you configure the MIDI devices to operate as a group, with one being the central one, so that'll be the one you have connected to your keyboard controller, and the other 4 as slaves, and then you would use MIDI channel numbers to address them individually across the connections. And you can have as many of those groups set up as you like, but that's at the moment that's the maximum. You can address 4 units from one other unit. That's the max, but you can do that multiple times. So you can have 4 controllers controlling 4 modules each, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
It'd be really cool if it did audio as well. But I think it's a great idea.
They were developing a wireless audio that was using similar technology, and they were getting very, very low latency. But they seem to have stopped that, or it's either stopped or it's stuck in development. So I don't quite know what they're doing with that. But I saw they did a demo video where they were playing a drum sound, and you could see they've got the audio, and on a regular sort of old-fashioned MIDI wireless MIDI connection, there was quite a gap. On theirs, there was virtually no gap whatsoever in terms of the audio. But I don't know what happened with that. Next time Bert, I'll have to ask him.
They've just been getting better and better at this stuff and producing more and more things. I always had a sort of some sort of mistrust of MIDI going over wireless. Like Scott, I think I still tend to wire everything, but they're getting so good at this. I may have to start actually jumping into this and start just connecting things using the CME stuff, because they it seems to be a really mature, stable technology now.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, like, at the moment, I can't remember what I've got connected. I've always got a MIDI device connected to my Mac, because even though the Mac does Bluetooth MIDI very, very well, WIDI to WIDI is more preferable than Mac to WIDI, and it's infinitely more preferable than PC to WIDI. Oh, pull my bloody headphones out.
Say that again.
Now I've lost all sorts of audio. I forgot I was on a short leash there. Plug myself back in. So I've got some WIDI devices over there, but for me, I tend to use them if I just want to hook something up quickly, and I don't want to worry about messing around with cables and shit. I just plug a WIDI in, and that's it, and I can just control everything from my computer and send it to wherever I want it to go.
That's actually that's pretty smart. Yeah, that's
for me. That was always the. I mean, I've got a drawer full of WIDI devices, literally a drawer full of the WIDI jacks, the WIDI masters, the WIDI buds, and then they also do these wonderful little hubs. And in fact, I was going to cover this today, and I don't know why I didn't put it on the list. And maybe I did put it on the list, and I just haven't called it up, because Behringer have just released this thing called the Behringer Go. Maybe we'll talk about that. While we're doing that, I'll just call that up. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. Yeah, so Nick asked a very pertinent question, and this is something I've been meaning to try for a little while. So he said, somewhere, I did bookmark it. Here you go. You could jack a slew of these into a pair of ESI M8Us and dispense with all MIDI cables in the studio.
That's a really good question.
You could. So what you can do, as I said before, you can, if you've got no other WIDI devices active in the room that are unpaired with anything, you can just switch on two devices and they will automatically pair with each other. So as soon as one WIDI device sees another WIDI device, it will pair to it. Now what you can also do is you can lock that pairing. So yes, if you plugged a WIDI master into jack 1 of your 16 input-output ESI and paired it with something else, you could lock that pairing in, and then you could do the same on port 2, port 3, port 4, but it would always be peer-to-peer on all those things. But you could also, I guess, set up some sort of grouping going on in there. It's an interesting thing. I would also be slightly wary of having all of those operating in close proximity. Even though it does use Bluetooth Low Energy or Bluetooth Smart or Bluetooth 5 point whatever it's called these days. There's so many different names for the same bloody thing. And it does this channel hopping thing, so it's always looking for the best signal. The more you have of those in a confined space, you may or may not, experience some issues. But it's definitely a thing you can do.
I suppose that's why a lot of people are suspicious of this, because you just want to know that it's going to work no matter what. I guess myself and many others might be thinking, at the point at which an out-of-the-box hardware device with all of that built in, an 8-channel CME WIDI device that's external from a computer, which you then connect via either Bluetooth or whatever, means you've got the way to route the stuff without having to worry about what's going on in the computer, and then just interface from that one box to that. That would work.
I think a lot of people took the concept of WIDI and thought it was going to completely replace MIDI cables. That was the objective. It's not. It has a range of use cases, but maybe not covering all of them. I mean, certainly in a live environment, if you're doing big gigs with a lot of MIDI connectivity and you want to reduce the number of cables, I don't necessarily think this might be the best way of doing it, because there's so many other variables going on, and you want 100% connectivity all of the time. I've seen this being used live in big gigs, and it works. But I think if you ask any any engineer that's doing this stuff, any keyboard tech, they would probably say 99.9 times out of 100, I would use a cable every time, because a cable is solid and reliable, mostly. But, yeah, your mileage may vary. There was another question. Bert says, have I tried WIDI on the drum kit? Yep, and it's perfect. Because the latency is so... it's 3 milliseconds. It's imperceivable to the human ear. I mean, there's latency on cabled MIDI, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah.
You know? So I keep
Especially the
covering...
more you daisy chain them.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I keep covering your face up when I put the questions up there, Scott.
That's
So
all
I
right.
do apologise. It's not because you're not pretty. But yes, I have tried it on drums, and that is because that was if you're going to look for accuracy there, that's definitely a thing. So yeah, and they work absolutely fine.
Mike McAuley made an observation. There we go. Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? You know, that's why we tend to rely on wiring for live.
But you know, WIDI uses the latest version of Bluetooth, or a much better version than previous wireless MIDI systems used, and it works really, really well. But anyway, we've kind of divulged. But I want to come on to this thing. So Behringer just the other day released a thing called the Go MIDI host. Here it is, and it's 25 quid, or 25 US dollars, about 20 quid. Basically what it does is it has a MIDI in and out port on one side and 2 USB ports, USB-C ports, one for power and one for data on the other side. And they're billing this as something that you can, you know, just take any controller, plug it into this box and spit out MIDI either, you know, in either direction from a regular MIDI port or a USB port. And this is somehow revolutionary or very useful. It's $25, and I think they are trying to encroach on the CME, you know, market space. But the thing is, if I go back to the CME page, just a moment. So if you go to their MIDI page, you've got this USB. We covered this. This is their USB MIDI cable. So on one end you've got USB, and there's either USB A or USB C. So you can choose which one you want. On the other end you've got 2 5-pin MIDI cables. Now you can use this cable in any number of ways. You can plug the MIDI out to the MIDI in, so you can essentially connect. Let's see, there is a page here that shows the different connectivities. So you can connect 2 MIDI devices via 5-pin MIDI. Or you can connect one MIDI computer, say, for example, to a MIDI in and out of a synthesizer. And all of this is configurable with an app. So you can also filter the MIDI as well. So you can say, don't send these messages, do send these ones. All configurable through a free app. And these cost 18 quid. And they're built by a company who specialise in this kind of thing. So, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, there's choice, isn't there? You know, everyone has a choice, and you can think, well, I'll go for a cable that I can configure with my app, or I'll just go for a simple box I can just plug in and go.
Distance would be a factor as well.
Exactly, but these cables are brilliant because they're so multifunctional, and you've got the MIDI filter and the mapping and the routing all built into this little unit. And you can all just configure it. It's so much better, in my opinion. So if you're thinking about going for this thing, think about the cable as well. You might save yourself a few quid and get a bit more functionality out of it.
I mean, I guess for the Behringer Go, the customers are going to be people that already have a setup that's already cabled, and they just want to get it into and out of a computer or a host or whatever. So I get it. I get it. But
you can spend a little bit more money and go for these things that they do. The H2 MIDIs. And they do like everything, ins and outs, and they, yes, they're a little bit more money, but you get way much. I mean, this one here, the H2 MIDI Pro, it does so much more. 8 in, 8 out host ports via USB A, free shipping. It's just it's a no-brainer, really. It's a no-brainer.
It really is.
There's a choice. So
They do a lot of
it's
good
very
kits, CMA, don't they? They do a lot of good stuff.
They do, and it's the pricing on it is just madly good. There's it's not really a huge barrier to getting involved.
Yeah. Our friend Mike there says he has an H4 MIDI and it's stunningly good. I know Jim Glue uses which one is it? I think it might be this one. One of those. I'm pretty sure he uses one of those in his live rig and has sworn by it. Yeah. So there are plenty of decent options now for MIDI connectivity. So yeah, all good. All good. Right. Okay. Next up, we've got a trailer for this actually. Let's play this one. This is one for Ty. So yeah, this is brand new from Spitfire Audio. It's called the Chateau Piano. It is the 1901 Steinway at the Chateau de Hérouville, which is the famous studio where Elton John recorded Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and of course his album Honky Chateau is kind of partially named after the studio. Bowie recorded there, Pink Floyd recorded there, Bee Gees recorded. I mean, so many people have recorded at this studio, as you probably saw in the trailer clip there, and it's that kind of an amazing sound. That piano was used all over those recordings, and I hope I should share the right page, shouldn't I? Really, but it's been restored by a very, very experienced tuner called Bastien Urban. It's 124 years old, and it's been restored and now sampled within an inch of its century and a quarter's life. By Spitfire Audio with loads of different mic positions. There's a whole bunch of presets included to get you going. A lot of them are named, in that kind of way that you kind of know what they're going for and what recordings they're aping. But it's only 129 quid, but at the moment it's 103 on an introductory offer. And it is a very special, unique piano that is featured on some amazing, legendary recordings, all fitted into Spitfire Audio's own application, so you don't need to worry about contact or anything like that. It's just, that sounds, that piano from all of those classic songs. Ken, you love a good Joanna.
Mm-hmm.
Have you harboured any desires for this one?
Yeah, I bought it.
Oh, you bought it? What? Well, tell us what you think about it then.
Oh, it's bloody lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Lovely.
absolutely.
What's different about this too? Because obviously there's so many pianos out.
There's a nuance to it, like most of these sample libraries. The one that will separate it from another piano library. But this, when they say, "Oh, this is the piano that Elton John used," or is this? It's got there's a tone in it that is recognisable to people who know the songs well.
Yes.
And I just like I like buying me Spitfire Audio libraries, as you well know.
Yes, it's an addiction.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely sound. I mean, for me, it's if you listen to Benny and the Jets, the opening of Benny and the Jets, that's that piano. Crocodile Rock. That's that
Yeah.
piano. It's just a brilliant sound. Andrew, what do you think?
There's nothing wrong at all with sampling and providing essentially a copy of an iconic piano. There was the one at Studio 2 Beatles thing, is the Abbey Road one. There's all sorts of, so it's good that it's in the world and it's being done. Not particularly for me. I understand it's a great piano, but there are others that I prefer, but it's great that it's out there. I think it's what I do like about it is the controller and the fact that they've got a lot of controls for ultra close miking, very close miking, distant. They've got a lot of different controls for the noise of the room and for the hammers and the noises of the piano, which makes it sort of real. Which is good, but that's we've seen that on other Spitfire offerings as well. Mm-hmm. So if you really need to have that sound and that piano, it's great that it's out there. I don't think I'll be buying it, but it's a good thing. It's good to have it in the world.
I mean, I'm a huge Elton John fan. I'm a huge Bowie fan. I'm a huge Bee Gees fan. I think I'll just buy it just because I can go to that sound and say, yeah, that's the one. Our resident sound designer, Scotty.
I like it. I've not bought it, but I think I probably end up buying it. I do like it. Well, I'm a massive Elton John fan anyway, as many of us are. But I'm kind of like Andrew with that as well. I love and what Kent was saying with the nuances and the attention to detail that these people make in these libraries, like your dampers coming on and off and pedal noise and all this kind of stuff, and it just adds all this realism to.
Gotta have it, haven't you?
Yeah, and for a keyboard, a piano as old as that, the good thing with this is it preserves it. That sound is now preserved for good. If anything ever goes or happens to that piano, they've captured it.
That's it.
And knowing Spitfire, they've done it properly as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And it's not a bad price. I mean,
Very
full
good
price
price.
is 129. So it's 103 at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's probably worth. There are some good pianos, but this is a special piano. It's like you say. We talked about the Abbey Road piano, Mrs. Mills piano. I've got that somewhere on a Abbey Road collection.
And time was bands producers, musicians would travel to studios for the particular piano they had. I've done that in the past when I've been making albums. You sometimes travel for a particular piano and a particular sound. And much as I love this sound, it doesn't suit my. I love the sound, love it, but it doesn't suit my particular style of playing. So I can't think that I'm going to have it. But the Abbey Road one, I'd have, that's, kind of course I'm going to have that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sounding piano.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Absolutely. Need to say thank you because I missed these. Steve Ixorb 4.99. Thank you very much indeed. Most appreciated. Put another $5 in the meter. He says. Jason Crouch says saved me a fortune starting the show. $4.99. Thank you very much indeed. And of course our regular donation that matches the show. No, I can't wait till we get to a show 1,000. See if he gets a tenner out of his pocket. And of course, yes, the Mercedes SL280. Good car. Absolutely.
Great car.
Thank you, all three of you, for your donations. Paul, I've seen your question. I've banked it. It's over there. We will come to it in just a bit. We've got about half an hour of the show left to go. I do want to mention this. This is where I'm going to be tomorrow. And if you are inclined to the to graphic artwork and you like drawing and sketching and that kind of thing, there's an event that is going on in Liverpool. And it's called Draw Together, and it's being held at the University of Liverpool. And the reason I'm going is that my wife is an artist, and so she's going to go and do some drawing. But my friend is going to be providing 2 hours of ambient music, and I thought it'd be great to actually sort of sit down and listen to him play. So I'm going for the music, she's going for the drawing. It's completely free of charge. The cafe won't be open, so you do need to bring your own food and drink. But no need to book. No need to register or pay, you just turn up and join in, and there's going to be lots of things going on there. So that's going to be happening at the Victoria Gallery and Museum if you are around in Liverpool tomorrow afternoon at or between the hours of 2 and 4 p.m. Come and say hello. That would be great. Thank you to Nick Howes. He's gifted yet another ProSynth Network membership. I don't know who's got it, but tell us in the chat if it was you. But thank you, Nick. That's very kind of you, and somebody will be benefiting from that free channel membership and therefore access to all the content. And if you have just joined on YouTube as a member, to get access to all the links to the content, just go to the posts tab, scroll through, and you'll find all the links there for you to download all the free stuff.
Has Kent fallen asleep?
I think he might have done, actually.
No, Kent is having an ocular migraine.
Oh, right.
Jeez, man.
Well,
You
keep your
poor
eyes
bugger.
closed, mate. If you need to go, just go.
No.
Okay.
I just have to wait for it to pass. At the moment, I've got this glowy bed spring going right across my eyesight.
Nice.
Yeah, it's passing.
Nice.
All right. Excellent. All right. Well, let's move on to, we've got a discussion topic. I'm going to play the first few seconds of this video, and hopefully we won't get told off, because I urge you to go and watch the whole video, but I'm just going to play the first 30 seconds or so, and hopefully it won't get us a slapped wrist. Before we do that, Simon Tucker, by the way, T-shirt, there it is in his impressive little studio. Big supporter of the channel. Thank you very much indeed for that. And you see he's got his robotic knee still on there.
Do we have a ProSynth Network robotic knee?
Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
In the merch?
That would be very cool.
Yeah. ProSynth Network.
I don't need one, but I would actually buy it.
So would I.
Prosthetic Synth Network.
For my arthritic wrists. Yeah.
So anyway, let me
For
just
all
play the
your
first 30
needs.
seconds. All you need. I'm going to play you about 30 seconds of this video. This guy is making a discussion point. Hopefully you'll get it from this, but if you don't, I'll explain. But have a listen to this.
One of the statements that you hear a lot these days is we're losing our recipes. Yeah, we are losing our recipes. It's the exposure, because you got to give them a taste for that stuff too. If they don't have a taste for it, then they won't be accustomed to real home cooked food. They'll just be like, nope, give me the quick fast food stuff. Can you blame people for not wanting to make music in a more slow, methodical way if music is not their primary source of income? This whole industry of like music tech and all that stuff, it is going to die. It's not enough of us that are coming into this space that care enough about music production. Daz, what's going on? He said, I'm late.
So basically, this is all about the fact that people that need music are no longer, or in greater number, no longer going to people that make music for their music. They're able to go to an AI system and say, I want some happy music that is going to soundtrack this kind of video, blah, blah, blah. And they hit a button, and 30 seconds later, they've got the music they want to do. And that seems to be the way that people create this kind of music now. And he's making the point about people leaving the way, the methods that we use, because who would want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours concocting a few pieces, a few minutes of music, when it's easier and cheaper to just go type a prompt, press the button, and there's the bit of music I need. And you need to watch the whole thing, and we can't obviously show you the whole thing here, but it's worth a watch. And I was just wondering, I work in an industry where we already use music from a library that's generally been provided by musicians. They're credited. We pay for that stuff. But I bet very, very soon that library's content will soon have more AI-generated stuff than actual human being generated stuff. And I can see a lot of people either stepping away from doing this or just giving up altogether, and the industry's going in maybe the wrong sort of direction. I don't know. This is what I thought we could discuss. The discussion topic being, is the way we make music today destined to die because of this?
No.
Why not?
Because creating music this way is part of the fun. Right. If we're talking about making money from music, good luck, because I don't think anybody bloody is anyway. Right? So there's always been the plastic music side to this, you know. Or you know, two people never seen them before. A song's written for them, and they then perform it, and you know, they're like, yeah, it goes to number one, and then nobody remembers them 6 months later. So there's always been that aspect to the music business anyway, and that's pretty much what the AI is going to fill up. And that's it'll just continue that plastic music kind of thing. In terms of people buying gear and creating their own music, they'll carry on doing it because doing that is part of the fun. It's part of the process. You know, you do it because you want to. You don't do it because you go, oh, I wish AI would do this for me. Because if you're thinking that, then...
But that market will then start to shrink because there's a whole bunch of people that you know take Ty for example. How soon will it be before somebody like Ty, you know, not Ty specifically, but somebody who composes music for a living to be used elsewhere, how long is it going to be before the people that generally commission them say, do you know what, he costs us, I don't know, let's say he costs us £10,000 for a project, I can go to a service where I can get an AI to generate me the music, because all it's doing is it's sitting under somebody talking, you know.
Well, in terms of movies, film studios want a name. They want a name to bring people to the film, right? You know, they always want to put up Hans Zimmer's name on the latest blockbuster that's coming out. If there's no name there, music composed by a computer, the draw isn't there, you know.
But is the composer a significant draw in a film these days?
I would have thought so. The way it's filmed, you know, certain directors hone out to find particular composers. Yeah, I would have thought so.
I personally think the AI side of music is going to be... It'll serve its purpose in certain areas for bread and butter music that basically, like you say, that will go into libraries and things like that, Rob. But for the consumer, part of loving a band, listening to music, is going and seeing them play live.
Yeah,
And
but
for
they're getting
mu-
round
and
that now, Scott, aren't they, with these video holographic bands? There's one now, isn't there, where the
Yeah,
band
but-
doesn't exist and you can actually go and see them perform live.
But it's not live, is it? They're not performing live.
Yeah, but the kids don't give a monkeys.
Well, I think that'll be very short-lived, personally.
I-
Because what will
who
happen
knows?
is that'll go for so long, and then someone will come out with a real band and say, no, this is what a real band should sound like, and then everything will change again. But
Yes.
Well, look
but
at
it's the whole jam, like us four would love just sit down, like do it even online, and we'll sit and jam.
Yeah.
All that side of things, you would do that anyway. That side of, you would buy gear just to jam with people.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
more a
it's-
case of, you know, musicians kissing goodbye to actually having a career and earning money from music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right
And
across the board.
And then that will have an impact on the industry that makes and sells the instruments, because we're not going to be able to afford, because we're not earning, you know, the money from this stuff. I don't know. It's
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
it's interesting. Yeah.
there is a change in the industry, and there are, you know, we've seen seismic changes in the music industry over the years, and in the film and or, you know, advertising industries, where, you know, people have been using library music, to my knowledge, certainly for the last 30, 40 years. Library music's been there forever, you know, for a really long time. And it's sometimes a really cheap option. But the other thing which people kind of forget is there are still, and there's a lot of directors and independent filmmakers and people doing films for corporate or documentary or whatever, that want a specific mood. That they understand, directors, people working with video, with film, with images, understand that the music or the ambient soundtrack, whatever it is, makes a huge difference to how your set of visuals is received, right? I've got some friends that recently completed the music for a Radio 4 or Radio 3 documentary on Banksy. It was a 3 or 4 part series. And they did this because the director knew of them, and he knew the kind of stuff they did. They're not names, But what they are is absolutely brilliant at capturing a certain atmosphere that really suited the style of this documentary and helped carry it over the line. That's always going to be the case. What's happening at the moment is, for a lot of musicians, music as a career is becoming more of a side hustle at the moment. And people are working out that, okay, I might have to do other work or do other jobs, or maybe I need to sell music or do sample packs or do whatever to make this pay. AI is certainly going to be playing a part. And the question, I think, is how much will this affect instrument manufacturers? Well, that's also going to be down to how much will the people that are using these instruments want to use their instruments. Are they doing enough to make it? It's really interesting how many ancient, vintage, as they now called synths, are coming back as plugins or reinvented as new hardware. It's kind of, people have realised that there was something about that was good. In the same way as there is about pianos. Pianos haven't disappeared, nor have violins or orchestras or guitars and all that kind of stuff. Whether or not it's going to affect the industry, I think the industry is getting affected anyway. It's just how they respond. And for an awful lot of the software manufacturers, it might be that they move into making hardware. We've started seeing that happening as well. Will they all survive? No one survives revolutions. Not everyone does, but there are also opportunities. So it's an interesting time. As Kent said, library music has been being used for forever already, and AI will fulfill a niche. And by the way, Scott, you said, AI music will end up in libraries. It will do that as well, but for an awful lot of people, they're just going to do a prompt and create it on the fly. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Well, there's another thing, yeah.
But it's not doing it with the lived experience of a composer that understands the vision of the or has a relationship with the director or the people making visuals. Doing music for visuals, Ty will tell you, it's not. By the way, £10,000 for a tie.
I was just pulling a random. Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. I was missing like 4 zeros off the end there.
A little bit more, but and not everyone so many people aspire to that level of doing this, but there's lots and lots of visuals being made and lots of people doing stuff where, like this ambient thing you're going to see on Saturday, Robbie, he may or may not be being paid for that, but he might be able to, as a side hustle, sell some recordings of it or go and get gigs elsewhere doing it. It's kind of, how much do you want to do it? How much do you want to do it?
And there's also
it's only a matter of time before a Synth comes out where it has AI patch creation in it.
Oh, that's got to be coming.
Guaranteed, yeah.
Got to be coming.
And things like that. But, it's like this discussion that we had on the pub about AI. Was it last night, wasn't it?
No, it was Wednesday.
Or was it Wednesday?
Yeah. I missed that.
Like all creations, all new revolutionary technologies, they can make life easier and they can make your life worse at the same time, simultaneously, depending on where you happen to be standing on the playing field.
It does seem to be, also there does seem to be a large proliferation of, we've taken the piss out of them for a number of years. Things like MIDI chord packs and building block kits that you can just buy. Give us $49.99 and we'll give you 5,000 MIDI chord progressions, and all you got to do is just pick the one that you've and it's just kind of, it takes, for me, that takes the joy out of making music.
Completely.
Yeah.
Well, that makes that's a process rather than a creative act, right?
Yeah, I mean, making music by numbers is just really, but it does seem to be a thing. But then saying that, I was buying twiddly bits in the 90s, and using those.
I remember twiddly bits
to do all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's the way you use it. I watched that video and just felt a little bit depressed because he was making some really good points. And I urge you to all go and watch that. If you want to know where to find it, I will get the link up for you in just a moment. But he makes some very salient points in there. He's a young guy, and he's clearly into his music. He's got a good good little studio set up there, and he's genuinely concerned that the way that we've been used to making music is probably going to go away.
Sorry, here's an observation that may or may not be useful, but if you look at what Kent's got there, he's got the the PB12. He's got the MX8. He's got the CS80 at the moment, but he's got a whole bunch of stuff. And Kent, and I'm sure the same is true for Scott, and I know it is for you as well, Robbie, as it is for me. We tend to find it. I went through a phase of having all the synths, all of them. And now I've stopped doing that. I've got rid of a load because I know the synths I'm really comfortable with because they're instruments and they reflect a part of me and they're part of my way of creating stuff. So I think as long as you buy the synths that you get on well with and that allow you to create, it's a good thing to do. It's whether or not, 100 of the Sonic wares, 100 different SKUs of products, a bit like Emu when they turned out the Proteus 2000 range of products. It was a new one every week, a different colour. All it was the same box with a different ROM. And there comes a point at which the public go, "Nyeh." And so you look for something else, right? And I think that's kind of where we are. I wouldn't get too worried about the dystopian future. Yeah, we are gonna.
Yeah, but
there's going to be changes.
We are talking about musicians in a more sort of like generalised kind of way, whereas everybody's an individual at the end of the day. And
I'm not.
Well, you should be by now. I mean, for instance, I could have, nearly have anyway, all the piano libraries on the planet, and I got the CFX on that, and Christ knows what else, right? But I'd break somebody's arm to get hold of a Busendorfer D6 and have it in the front room. Regardless of how many.
And here's the thing, Ken. Occasionally you play, on the pub or elsewhere, and you play a bit of music, and you always say it's Vangelis or one of those things, but primarily Vangelis, and you'll play your thing. Here's the thing. What I don't think you've understood is it's not Vangelis. Yes, it's inspired by Vangelis, but it's your own take on it, and the way you play is entirely Kent Spong. If I was making a movie where I thought that kind of a soundtrack would work, I would ask you to score it because you have a way of playing that I freaking adore, the way you texture stuff. And that's the thing. Most of us know, that there are people that do this that just have a sound and a way of approaching stuff that you really want to combine with whatever your visual images are. The same's going to be, true for certain YouTube, YouTube things and whatever else. So
I remember, I think I've told this story before, but I remember taking a cassette tape into work once. This was like in the late 90s, and I recorded some stuff and I wanted to play it to some people. So I played it to, I had a captive audience. They couldn't get anywhere. They worked for me. And so I played it to them and, got some feedback and it was great. And then the next day, one of these people brought in a CD that he'd burnt at home, and he put the music on and said, "What do you think about this, Rob? Because, you obviously are into this." And I listened to it and I thought, that's not bad. It was very dancey, that kind of thing, late 90s dance oriented stuff. I said, very good. I said, what did you use to make that? And he said, PlayStation. I said, sorry? He goes, yeah, I got a PlayStation. There's a game called Music 2000. And And he said, oh, what's that then? Because I didn't have a PlayStation at the time. And he said, it's kind of a thing where you've got a whole library of bass clips and a whole library of drum clips and a whole library of melody clips and arpeggiator clips, and you just put them into a grid.
Just Lego it together.
And you just put it together and you press play. And there was part of me that was going, Jesus Christ. And there's another part of me that had to be very polite and say, oh, okay, that sounds cool. I'll have to look into that. And I thought, and I remember thinking at the time, this is it. If this is the way it's going, there's infinitely more people with PlayStations than there are with any of this kind of stuff. And they're all going to be sat there, making music by, paint by numbers type thing. We're done for. But yet here we are, over a quarter of a century later, and we're not. And we made this point on one of your pubs this week, Kent, about sampling. Everyone got their knickers in a twist about sampling.
Yeah.
They thought it was the death
big
knell.
time.
They thought it was the death knell of original musicians. That within a few years there'd be no need for human musicians anymore, because
orchestras would be gone.
Yeah, everything would be gone.
Yeah.
And before that, the same thing happened with synthesizers, by the way.
The same thing happened with Bob Moog, didn't it?
And did they?
Yeah.
None of the doom and gloom happened. In fact,
Well, actually, quite the opposite, wasn't
Exactly,
it? Because
yeah.
orchestras suddenly become vogue again
Yep.
because of the samplers.
Yeah, and they're getting so many gigs, to be sampled. It's and people like Spitfire Audio, like for example with the BBC SO. I think I don't know if it's specifically with that library, but I know with some libraries they made of orchestras, the orchestra gets a cut of the sale as well, so it keeps the orchestras going, because it's not cheap to run an orchestra and have it do the things that it does, touring around and what have you. So they're funding those people that they were allegedly supposed to be replacing, and they're not. So
Probably not the BBC.
Probably not the SO. No,
that's already government
licensed
funded.
Yeah, that's licensed payer funded. But some of their stuff is I certainly know that they do contribute back into the orchestras that they've sampled. So I don't know. I mean, we can go on about this dystopian society where AI is taking over and nobody's doing anything anymore. And I think the one element that AI doesn't have and never will have is humanity. It doesn't have humanity.
9 times out of 10, these things occur, and the outcomes are never anywhere near what anybody was predicting.
There was a huge thing around COVID, around lockdown and just after, about actors being replaced in Hollywood movies by VR and by scanning their bodies and replacing them. Thing is, you still need someone to act. I've not seen. I mean, there's the kind of movies that are being made, blah blah blah. But there's a lot. There's not. They're very formulaic. But there is still talent coming through. There are still good actors, and guess what? They're not being replaced by AI, because it's really expensive to do that, by the way. But they're not being replaced, and the same thing applies with the music that's used on these things as well. I saw a friend. I was around a friend's house a couple of weeks back. They've got a really shitty upright piano, and they haven't played for years. And they played. I think it was Fair Release to me. We were just talking. They started playing. And I was captivated, and I actually found myself crying. It was such a beautiful rendering, because it was this person doing it at that time on that piano. It was beautiful. And I think that's the way we touch each other and the way that informs things. That's the fight back. That's the answer for AI. AI has arrived. You might as well say, will synthesizers disappear synthesizers aren't going anywhere either. But whether or not there'll be as many made, and there aren't that many piano manufacturers now either, by the way, or guitar manufacturers, things happen. But don't panic.
I know this is actually quite niche, but something else that occurred, like with the excel in technology of CGI. And only after so many, blockbuster movies were made, especially sci-fi, where the ships are done via, Unreal Engine or something like that, that they started to notice that if you actually use a model, there's something realistic that just the software was not able to capture. So the model builders suddenly were all, no, come on back, guys. We still want, we want you now. And then they found that there's this blend mixture between the two,
And this is the same. This is the same thing as let's fix it in the mix, or we'll fix it in post. When you're shooting, we'll just use a green screen and we'll put that thing in. More and more people are realizing that practical effects when you're shooting and or when you're recording music, if you want a particular thing, commit to it, record it, move on. Spend time setting it up so you're hearing the thing you want. So you've set it up and then you capture it and then you move on. That won't disappear.
No. I mean, Christopher Nolan, when he was making Oppenheimer, could have easily gone to any of the CGI houses in Hollywood and have them recreate the Trinity explosion, but he didn't. It was all practical because there is life to it. You know, there's that whole thing. But another point that this guy makes in the video, which I think is a valid point, he talked about it in that clip that I played about recipes, and the analogy, he goes into a bit more detail with that analogy, is that you can go out and buy, you know, a meal at a fast food restaurant, and it's just like it's formulaic. It's boom boom. You know, it's always the same amount of this, same amount of that. You get this, you always get that. But what we're losing is that ability to go out and source those ingredients yourself, and then put the love into making something with those ingredients. And that's the thing we need to hold on to. And I thought that was quite an interesting point.
Something, fortunately, is not lost here because of Fiona.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Who's massively into doing just.
But there are so many people that will, you know, go and just
grab a fast food meal.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, people who will and people who won't, like everything else.
I think at the end of the day, humanity is the thing that, you know, nothing ever seems to take away, despite us being so fearful of that happening. You know, sampling didn't get rid of musicians. Synthesizers didn't get rid of other musicians. And I don't think AI will, because even if you... I mean, I've been to see the ABBA experience, you know, ABBA Voyage. Yeah. And it's a stunning visual treat, because it's not just a bunch of holograms on a screen. It's a three-dimensional multimedia experience, but most importantly, there is a live band. So everything is played live. Now, yes, they play to some tracks with the original vocals on, but the bulk of the music is still a live band. And so I think that says a lot for, even though the technology is capable of they could have done the whole thing with backing tracks. They could have just taken the ABBA originals, remixed them, and just had them play along with the visuals. But no, they actually got a real band, because if you're putting on a gig experience and there's no live band, it's not really, you're just sat there watching a film, surely. So I still think that, you know, if people like that realise the importance of the human element, then I think we're okay for a while anyway.
That said, even I would accept a AI app to run on this computer that when my tracks don't go, mix that for me, will you, for God's sake? Because I don't know
Tim
what I'm
Exile
doing.
has just produced a program, piece of software with no name, I think it's called, that doesn't use AI, but uses clever programming to give your tracks a lift. I can't. I'm not going to. We haven't got time to go into the detail of it, but he talks about it on this week's Sonic State. So go and have a look at that, because Tim's a bloody genius, and he's done something quite remarkable there.
Funny thing is, for years people were using finalizers to finalize their mixes. It did they put it through the same box, everyone like squeezing the shit out of it. It sounded sonically da-da. And then you put the same mix to someone like I don't know if you know him, George Schilling, who's a brilliant engineer. I've worked with George when he was still way back,
when he had short hair.
When he had short hair and drove a Renault 5. Thing is, when you give it to someone like George, who's a proper mastering engineer, and you say, do something with this, he just adds a nuance to it and a sonic character that is entirely pleasing, and really understands what the music is about and what the whole album and the flow should be. He's a genius. You don't get that from AI. What you get is something that sounds like something else.
Yeah.
You don't get any of that input.
Very true. I listened to the new David Byrne track today and thought there's no way AI could ever come up with something that David Byrne comes up with.
Psycho Killer. Yeah. I mean, really?
You have to wait for AI to have a mental breakdown first.
Yeah, quite. Can't wait to see him live. Anyway, we've pretty much come to the end of the show. That was an interesting little discussion. Don't forget, if you want to carry on that discussion, then you can do so over on our Facebook page, which is pretty much where everybody tends to hang out now. So if you haven't already, come and join us over on the Facebook group there. Oh, sorry, Scott, I've just done that over your face again, as the actress said to the bishop. Give us a like and a follow over on Facebook.
I
If you
was
want to join
bad.
the group, you have to answer 3 very simple questions. It's a bit like Monty Python. Answer these questions 3, and we'll let you in. And you can join in the fun and games over there. So don't forget, next week we've got the guys from Cherry Audio and some more, which I can't say, but it's all relevant and pertinent to what Cherry
here.
Audio are releasing on Tuesday, which we mentioned earlier on. So go and check those guys out and look out for that, and come. The best thing to do is to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell, and then when we put that show up ready ahead of time, then you'll be informed and you won't miss it. A couple of quick comments from the chat. Absolutely, Don Lewis had to deal with all this and took a brunt from the whole synthesizers taking work from musicians thing. Boy, did he. If you want to know more about that, look out for the film. The Don Lewis documentary, which is absolutely stunning.
Great film.
And
Great film.
if I can plug my interview with Don Lewis as well on the Sound on Sound podcast channel, the guy was just one of the loveliest people. But he did take an awful amount of grief, not only because of synthesizers, but also for the color of his skin, which was just crazy. But he won, and he prevailed, which was the main thing. Ken Flux Pierce says, I don't know, looking at politics today, I'd say AI has more humanity than a lot of actual people.
Yeah.
Fair point, well
Yeah,
made.
but- yeah, I've
Paul
heard that a few
Groveside was
times.
asking in the chat, I said I wouldn't forget you, I didn't, just. Does anyone know of a channel or website that looks at the business side of releasing music? Looking into the world of releasing music from the outside, it's a minefield, and yeah, I can imagine it is, but...
It is.
Anybody know of any video, YouTube channels or websites that looks into the business side of releasing music? Anyone in the chat, maybe?
I've had so many people ask me that question, and so many of the sites that they've found themselves are one way or another scams. I'd be very hesitant to recommend, but that there are going to be. If I come up with anything, if I can find anything, Paul, I will drop you a DM.
There is a channel. Steve's just pointed out there's a channel. It's a female lawyer, and I'm only pointing out the fact that she's female because it will hopefully help you find her. But she's a music industry lawyer, and she's got a whole bunch of stuff in there on her channel, worth looking into. But as some people are saying, the music industry
Bandcamp,
is
yeah.
dead. Bandcamp, do it your way on your own terms. That's a
sure
very
enough.
good thing.
Yeah.
Wagyu says the battery operated orchestra have covered the business side of stuff on their show, so go and check out Boo.
Good shout.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that lawyer. She's brilliant. She's so good, and she takes on different topics about the whole business and legal side of the music business. So that might be a worthwhile one to look at. And of course, PRS in the UK, ASCAP in America. They've all got. These are the musicians and publishing organisations.
Yeah, you've got the MCPS in the UK as well,
MCPS,
don't you?
yeah.
Top music
Well,
attorney.
that's part
There
of
you go,
PRS.
top
then.
music
Is
attorney.
it?
Top music attorney.
Let's see if we can just call her channel up and give her a bit of a plug. It's kind of a pretty obvious title, wasn't it? Yeah, top music attorney. Here we go. Share this tab. Here it is.
Ooh.
There you go. Top music attorney. Grow your music business. I mean, the amount there's a huge amount of content, copyrights, AI, deals. You can see there's tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff. So yeah, top music attorney. Let me just put her link into the chat. I've watched some of her stuff. I mean, I don't really have much of an interest in that sort of thing, but is very, very well worth looking. Of course, Rick Beato has a whole bunch of stuff, more on the creative side, but he's had a few bits of a few issues that he's discussed on his show. So anyway, yeah, that's one that I would certainly recommend. Right there. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining us. I was just looking, we haven't actually hit the 2-hour mark yet because we started late, didn't we?
Oh,
We did.
I don't mind finishing early, as I say to Mrs. Puricelli most nights.
Every night.
Yeah, I wish. Jesus. Do you know what I did? Because it was my birthday in July, and for the first time the other day, I was filling out one of these kind of survey things for something I'd bought or service I'd used. And at the end they say, would you mind giving us a bit more detail? Are you male, female? What part of the country do you live in? And then it asks for my age. They generally put it into groups. For the first time I went into the 55 to 60 something group, and oh god. We've started. It's Saga Holidays next.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
10
Anyway,
men.
yeah, absolutely. So anybody got any interesting plans over the weekend? Doing anything special or
More twiddling.
more twiddling,
More sounds,
presets? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool stuff. We'll look forward to hearing those.
Scott?
Got you going to
Yes.
finish that damn OBX8 thing?
Yes, I'll get that done. I'm finished on Sunday. I hope and out by Monday. I'll get the videos, probably videos recorded Monday. But I'll probably just throw it up on the site come Monday, I think.
Let me know. Send me some information.
Yes, I will do. I will do,
cool.
buddy.
Nice one. Kent, are you cars again repairing?
Yeah, more of the she who cannot be named. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
And then at some point, we've still got to get on with CS80 recreations.
God, yeah, we haven't got long for that. It'll be gone soon.
Yep. So let's at least if we can go, we'll work it out. We'll have a chat about it.
Because he's not bringing the other 80 over with him.
Oh man.
So I'll be 80less.
Is there an organisation for this?
Yeah, it's
CS80
called,
Anonymous.
It's called hollowpoint.com. Yeah.
Can I also say
Yeah.
a big thank you to Tanith Valacqua, who has been in the chat pretty much the entire show and has placed an order for some merchandise. Thank you very, very much. That was greatly
talking of which,
appreciated.
I was going to order a cup. I keep on meaning to order one of the cups, and I keep forgetting. I will talk to you about. Do we get a? Do we? No, we don't. I will speak to you about it later.
Okay. Tanith
Actually, it's
bought one.
just made me think, because there won't be an 80 here, there's the antithesis to get on with the patches for her,
Yeah,
isn't
Exactly. Yeah.
it? Indeed.
indeed.
I've got to take the front and rear screens out of the Muzzy and the quarter lights tomorrow,
Nice.
and the headlining and the dashboard.
Oh, blimey.
Anything else?
Yeah, honestly, it's just this sort of like ghost now. It's just this shell, basically. It's unreal, and I'm just correcting everything that the previous person who restored it did really badly and wrong in some. And put it this way, bathroom sealer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the air scoops on the bonnet are held on with, because he'd lost the
Wow.
bolts.
Silicon sealer's pretty strong. It probably would have held forever.
It
It's
is, but if you're doing like 130 and one of them flips up,
True.
you'd know it, because they're solid aluminium. They're not
Oof.
plastic. So, yeah. So little things like that.
Mm.
So, instead of like, I'm going to tap them out and make a metric and then use metric bolts for them. Do that kind of stuff.
Don't forget, everyone, there are other streams available. Especially over the weekend. You've got Andy Synchrotron tomorrow at 10 o'clock, unless Andy pipes up and says he's not doing one. So hopefully he will be doing one. You've
He
got
should be
Ramsey
doing one.
Yeah, Ramsey.
I'm
at
not
2
working on the car without him.
Exactly. Ramsey at 2 o'clock. He'll be doing his show. You've got Jason doing his stuff on Sunday at 10:30, I think it is. 10 or 10:30. Get Jervis. I don't think Jamie's back until September. You've got Sonic State on the Wednesday. You've got lots of other shows to go and check out, lots of other channels. So do go and give them some
James
support
Dyson,
as well.
isn't there? He's been doing
James
regulars,
as well, yes.
regulars
Yeah,
with the
James is also-
Osmos.
Yeah.
He's
Thank you for the
do you know
clarification,
what?
Richard.
He
Thank
made me want to get an Osmos again. So, yeah, honest to God, he made me want to get an Osmos again. So I'm going to go round his house and I'm going to punch him so hard on the nose. Honest to God, bastard.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear. Anyway, lots of
it was beautiful. You got to hear it, guys. Please go and listen to James playing the Osmos with he was using, what was it, the
Artemis, wasn't it?
Artemis, and he was using some software the other night, and it's just like, oh god.
I think he was using the actual Osmos software
as well.
I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
Hats off to you for that, James, because usually people need a NASA degree to work that thing, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
No,
play
Keith,
to you.
it's yours now. Honestly, mate, it's yours now.
Just want to say hello to Steve Smith, who's in the chat who's been in the chat for the evening. I haven't seen him for a while. I'll be giving you a call over the weekend, Steve.
He was in the
I
pub.
wonder
the
what
other
he's
night.
going to say then.
Mm.
Dear me.
He was in the pub the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. Well, there you go. That's a show. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back same time, same place next week with some very special guests and then some very, very special guests. So we're really looking, it's going to be a big full house next week. Looking forward to
really
it.
is.
Stick around for the Cherry Audio launch on Tuesday, and then we'll put the show up after that, and hopefully it'll be a nice surprise for lots of people. We will see you then to talk all things. Well, I was about to say the name there, and I just stopped myself in time. All things related to that thing, and we'll see you then. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Take the greatest of care. And we'll see you all soon. Make lots of great music. Take care, everyone. Thanks for coming, Scott, Kent, Andrew.
Cheers.
Good to see you all. Take care.
Bye-bye,
God bless.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.